What's up, everybody? Shawn here with another Live to Roll live. This week we have a really fun live going on with a super big, fun, awesome group. We're gonna get right into it since we have so much going on here. I'll just do a quick introduction. Let everybody else go. I am Shawn, C5, C6 quad from a snowboarding accident 18 years ago now.
What's up, everybody? I'm Tom Conway, coming at you guys from the studio today, hanging out at Rancho. And yeah, we're really excited to talk to the Reinventing the Wheel crew, our Canadian homies from up north, and talk about peer support and the awesome organization that they are and represent. So I'm Tom Conway, C5, C6 quadriplegic, been paralyzed for 24 years. I'm 29 years old. And yeah, coming at you guys from SoCal. Bobby, do you mind introducing yourself?
Not a problem. What's up, everyone? Welcome back. I'm Bobby Rohan, C5, C6 quadriplegic. At the end of this month, 33 years will mark the big milestone for me. And let's meet some of our hosts. I think I'm going to turn it over to, as I was watching the film, they said the dad of the group. Let's talk to James. Let's meet James. That's what I heard. The dad of the group.
Yeah. I don't know who they're choosing or who's choosing that, but thanks so much, guys, for having us. This is absolutely awesome. It's an honor to be on this. Watched a few of your shows and all that, and it's just awesome to see it from obviously lived experience. It's great to have it. James Hektner, I'm T6, T7, paraplegic, Asia A, and 25 years coming up here. So yeah, I had a car accident, and that's the way it is. Life goes on. In fact, it almost gets accelerated in some aspects. So here we are. I'll pass it over to my buddy Scotty.
Yeah, I'm Scott James. I'm a C6-7 quadriplegic. It'll be 22 years for me this October, and I had a horrific monkey bar accident that put me in here. So
that is a unique story.
Stu always monkeying around over here. I'm sorry, Scott. My bad, Scott. Bad joke. Chelsea and Stu, do you mind taking it over next?
Sure. My name's Chelsea McEvoy. I'm a complete non-injury, able-bodied. My partner there is James Hektner in the other room. We've been together for going on 9 years now. And I'm a filmmaker out here in British Columbia, and I'm the director of Reinventing the Wheel.
Awesome.
Who are you?
Stu Wymer, 45 years old, C6, C7 quadriplegic. It'll be 16 years this year, and yeah, life on wheels has been fun.
Nice.
Yeah, we like it. Stu's an awesome guy, and a couple more awesome gentlemen. Dan, do you maybe want to get us started?
Still cutting your head off.
Yeah, so I'm Dan McLean. I was shot in the back during a turkey hunting accident. It'll be 3 years next month. I'm 52 years old, T4 paraplegic.
And I'm Will McCreight. I am now 6 years into my injury. It was a motor vehicle accident that I was in, and I am a C6-7 quadriplegic. Bring it to the box.
You guys have kind of a unique story too, which I thought was really cool in the movie. So Dan was Will's respiratory therapist while he was injured, and then so knowing him and just like that's just a really unique and cool connection, and awesome that you were able to get hooked up with these guys right away. So pretty cool crew to be hooked up with.
I just wanted to shout out the Quad Squad real quick. We represent the whole SCI community. But being a quad myself, I always like it when we have a bunch of quads on. It's kind of funny. But I also like to point out, between all of us on here and the experience we have with spinal cord injury. It's probably getting up close to a century's worth of
there's way more on
experience.
this for
You know,
all of us.
living life from a chair, and it's kind of a unique thing. All gathered in one place. Sharing their experiences and disseminating positive information. So I just really appreciate all you guys being on here today and talk about the film and your experiences and this cool life we're living.
Yeah, we appreciate you guys coming on for sure.
And before we dive into the topic, we're going to start talking about reinventing the wheel in just a second and a couple things. Just want to thank our sponsors at the top of the hour. Big shout out to Mobility Professionals. They are a rehabilitation equipment company out here in Southern California, and they are an awesome group of people who are very skilled in all aspects of understanding the equipment needs and then getting you what you need at the most effective cost out there, working with your insurance and helping make the process easier. And their sister company is also Urology Professionals, who's there to meet your catheter supply needs, whatever they may be, anywhere in the United States. Unfortunately, they aren't international, you guys. So sorry to our Canadian crowd that are watching today, but we'll talk to them about making that happen and see what we can do. But big shout out to our sponsors. We really appreciate them supporting our show and helping us out.
Yeah, thank you guys. We appreciate you. So yeah, let's go ahead and get into our topic now, which is reinventing the wheel and accessible Okanagan and just all the cool stuff you guys are doing.
So what came first, accessible Okanagan or reinventing the wheel?
Go ahead, Dad.
And yeah, we'll let James take this one to start.
Dad, why don't you take it, Dad?
Sure. Well, I guess, I love talking about our organization, our little group out here. I guess we started this kind of in 2000. I guess it all started back in about 2009. We met actually. I was at the rehab facility actually getting rehab for shoulder surgery before returning home. So I was down in Vancouver, about 4.5 hours from here, and happened to meet one of our good buddies, Anna, who had a spinal cord injury from a quadding accident. And anyways, after we got out of rehab and we returned home, we just ended up continuing to get together for coffee every week at 1 o'clock on Wednesdays. And slowly but surely, I think it was probably a couple months or so after, kind of getting together for coffee, started meeting a lot of other people. I met Scotty at tennis, and Stewie, actually, I was doing some reports and happened to meet had the pleasure of meeting Scotty. I didn't really know what to Stu, and I didn't really know exactly what to expect, but it was an instant friendship from that day on. And anyways, 2 turned into 4, turned into 6. Now I think that we've got over 600 members on our community, and on our private group. We like to keep it keep things fairly local as far as communication and events are concerned. But it's an awesome group. It's a connected group. We do an awful lot of things. We partner with an awful lot of organizations to make it happen because we run on an extremely tight budget of about $3,000 a year. All of our board members, 11 of our board members, we're all volunteers, and we're scattered from, I guess it's probably about a 5-hour distance. So it's a fairly large region, obviously remote, but yeah, and all of our board members have some form of disability. And it's a requirement.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyways, it's pretty awesome. We do an awful lot of things. So
that's amazing. You guys said it a lot in the film, and obviously understand that peer support and finding a community of individuals who all kind of share this life can probably be one of the most meaningful best things you can do for yourself following your injury. So creating a hub, creating a space, creating an organization that, supports and promotes activities, and like showcasing a lot of the life that can be lived post injury, is awesome. And I think is like super inspiring and beneficial to a lot of people coming out of the rehab process, because all of us know that it can be pretty difficult getting back into the swing of things right off, and I wish everybody had that experience. We're fortunate down here in Southern California, Bobby and Shawn and myself, to be a part of an organization called the Triumph Foundation that is very similar in that they do a lot of outreach, following the rehab process, do a lot of adaptive recreation events and, other kinds of fundraising and assistive, services for individuals with spinal cord injuries. So we love it, man. That is really, really awesome and really amazing. What inspired you to get that going? What got it started?
I think that it was rather organic. I mean, as we all know, after, an injury, it's, it's obviously life-changing. A lot of times we kind of want what what we've always had, kind of like what Scotty was saying in the movie. And, for a lot of us, actually, I was talking to Shawn about this a couple of weeks ago, and I was like, when I was first injured, it wasn't something that I reached out to. I didn't reach out to the, to the peer network. Not that there was really, what our groups have where I was from. So it probably took about 10 years before really embracing that, and by meeting, Annan, obviously, Scotty and Stu and a number of other people, it just kind of organically happened. And it was like, you start to realize how much fun it is. Obviously you have similar challenges. You start to not worry that, Code Brown is not that big of a deal anymore, as much as it used to be. And, shit happens, or, and it's just nice to be able to go out and have a beer, or, one of the big things that Stu and a couple of our other friends drove down to Lake Havasu, the four of us. And that was the first trip that we did down to Vegas. So, I mean, that's what probably really accelerated the whole group and what we were able to accomplish. And I mean, just like that, you want more of it. So just so ever since then, we've been going to Vegas for Halloween, and it's nice to take newbies down, or maybe even people that haven't experienced it before. So it's and where better place than Vegas for that.
Heck yeah.
So how was that, Dan, for you, right, so newly injured, getting to take a trip like that with these guys down to Vegas? Because I mean, that had to be a hell of an experience. It looked fun. So
oh yeah, it was 6 months after my accident though, so it was like there's so many new things to get used to, and the trip going down to Las Vegas with these guys was just another thing to get used to. But yeah, it was fun. It was a great way to get confidence in traveling.
Yeah. I just made my first trip to Vegas 24 years post-injury, and it was a fun time. But hey, that is really cool.
So our guy Tom here has actually not flown yet still since in his life.
Ooh.
So we're gonna actually get him to fly, I think, in a few months here to Houston for one of our expos we're going to.
Yeah, I gotta get a plane trip up to Canada on the books now too, after meeting you guys, for sure. But no, travel is a tricky thing, and it's a big part of certain individuals' lives. I know that I would be doing more traveling if I wasn't in my chair. And that being said, I do a fair amount, at least around locally and stuff. I may not be shooting across the country, but I do get out a fair bit, at least around California and nearby states. But being able to do something like that early on in your injury, we were just talking about this earlier off the air. It can just show you, the possibilities. Like, it could be tough. Like, it probably was tough, especially 6 months out. But, knowing that it could be done, figuring out how to, refine some of the processes and stuff, just getting over that hump. Like Shawn said it, I haven't done my first commercial big airplane flight yet, but I do want to get that hump done so that, I can take those bigger flights, do the international ones. I really want to go to Africa. I really want to go to Japan. I really want to do go to Australia and stuff. And that's going to be some serious plane time. So I'm going to have to be ready for sure.
Start off
but
something short and local.
yes. But let's talk on reinventing the wheel. A lot of what we talked about, the activities that these guys do, the trips and stuff can be showcased in this amazing film. And first and foremost, if you haven't seen it, the link to the Vimeo link where you can purchase and watch it is going to be in the description
It already is.
of the video. It's already in the description of the video. So please, if you haven't watched it, it is so worth a watch. Go and support the organization, support the filmmakers, and watch an awesome film. It's super amazing stuff. It's there's a lot of inspiration porn out there. That's what I call it. And some of it is great and awesome. Some of it can be a little cringy, but this is just a bunch of guys hanging out, having a good time and stuff. I love the little intermediary cuts, the black and white parts where you
cool.
played and joked on some of the typical stuff that's showcased in these films. And you get to see real guys living, doing cool stuff. It was very inspiring in a really awesome, unique way. Just wanted to say that.
I wanted to ask Chelsea about the film, but real quick, we have a few things in the chat. Andrew from the UK asked if you can see it in the UK. Yes, you can see it anywhere in the world. You can download it on VMO. The link is in the description below. No matter where you are, you can check it out. We'll get to more of the chat stuff in a minute. But while we're on the film topic, just Chelsea, what inspired you to make the film in the first place? How did it get started?
Oh no, the boys are laughing already. My story started about 10 years ago. I had a very good friend sustain a spinal cord injury in a motor vehicle accident, and he became a T4 paraplegic. I didn't know a lot about spinal cord injury, but I watched him go through the motions and also fall into a bit of a depression. He went back living at home with his parents and kept in contact with him. And then all of a sudden there was this shift in him where he seemed brighter, he seemed lighter, he was getting out and doing things and playing wheelchair rugby, biking. And I was like, what has changed? Something's changed. And he goes, oh, I met this guy, James, on the street, and he took me for a beer, got me to play wheelchair rugby, and we've been hanging out. And I thought, wow, that's super cool. Months go by, and Shawn, my friend Shawn, starts to really come into his own and his independence, and him and James's relationship was blossoming. And one day Shawn goes, I really think you should meet my friend James. And this is when I'm starting to learn a little bit more about the community and seeing, the value of peer support and what it was doing for my friend at the time. And so I met with James and I said, I really would love to do a documentary on your group. I think you're very inspiring. And we sat down and had a meeting, and we ended up making out instead. And so the movie didn't happen.
Nice.
Yeah, so cut to 7 years later at the time, I had received some funding for a grant application I did on Accessible Okanagan. It was just supposed to be a 20-minute documentary on the group and what the guys and girls have created in the valley. And my film partner, Ryan Tebbett, who is not here right now, but we discussed, hey, wouldn't it be cool to follow a newly injured person and how they integrate into community and how the value of peer support, because that's really what Accessible Okanagan is. And at that time, word circled around. We heard about Dan McLean out in Kamloops. And it was I knew he had just gotten home from rehab, so it was a little bit nerve-wracking to call him But a lot of times in filmmaking and in life, you know, if you're scared to do something, sometimes it's a good decision to go and move forward. And so I called Dan, told him, hey, I want to make a movie on you. This is what, and, you know, I was super nervous. And he said, yeah, sure. Which is a real testament to Dan. And then I said, do you sure you don't want to ask your wife first? And he goes, yeah, I'll ask her. You know, and talk to them later, and they agreed, which is a testament to Dan and Colleen and who they are as individuals. You know, first and foremost, they're educators. You know, they worked in the medical field and in politics, and they want to help people and educate people. So even though they were going through this very massive life change and trauma and healing, they still were open to sharing their journey. And I found out later that Dan just thought I was a student filmmaker and he didn't think it was going to go anywhere. So
it was really inspiring to watch Dan and his wife, you know, both along their journey. We speak about it a lot on the podcast on how, you know, it affects the family, you know, usually just as much as the individual that's going through it. And it's not very often showcased or talked about. So being able to see that side of it was a really, you know, beautiful, unique thing. And also, Dan, I just wanted, sorry if like our screen flickered for a second, just small technical blunder, but I think we're good.
Yeah.
But Dan, I just wanted to talk to you a little bit about your rehab process and about how you're doing in regards to your recovery. We do a lot of our videos, you know, topics for guys in the rehab process. Hopefully, you know, catching a lot of this information more early on in their injury and stuff. At least, you know, a lot of our more SCI health-related topics, you know, I really try to make sure anybody coming out of the rehab for the first time, you know, hopefully this information will be helpful to them. So just in that light, how are you doing recovery-wise?
I'm doing pretty good, I think.
Yeah. I mean, you look great, man. Like, you're very inspiring in the film. Just 6 months out, dude. You know, like, every spinal cord injury is different. But, you know, you can really tell that you took your rehab and stuff, you know, really seriously. You did a great job.
Yeah, it was, like I say, like, right after your accident, you're thrown into this new life, right? So everything is different. Just tried to kind of roll with the punches, I guess. And yeah, like the only thing that I'm really struggling with my rehab is still my pain, like, you know, your SCI pain, nerve pain stuff. The Bowel program's getting a little bit better. Metamucil twice a day. And yeah, keeping active, like sometimes during the winter there, well, COVID kind of slowed things down, of course, right? Like,
yeah,
it looked like I was doing all these great things right off the bat in the documentary, but right after the documentary was made, COVID hit. So you sit 2 years at home doing nothing really.
Yeah.
But now again, I'm getting into rugby. Just finished some ski lessons at the Hill again. Doing rugby, wheelchair basketball. We have a sledge hockey group here in town too, which is pretty cool. Doing physiotherapy every Wednesday. So yeah, I try to get out and keep active.
Yeah.
How long has it been now?
Dan,
oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry. Yeah, how important was it to have this group of guys that kind of just thrust you into, you know, as the film starts, basically got you on a kayak, got you out camping, you know, hanging out with, especially, you know, hanging out with someone like Stu, who's, you know, you can say the crazy one of the group, and, you know, just seeing that guys can be guys. I mean, how important was that in that early of stage?
Oh, obviously, yeah, I would say it's very important. It's they're a group of guys that, you know, it's easy to get into your little slump, I think, when you're in your wheelchair or you just want to stay and hide out in your house. Yeah, these guys, they get you out doing things and get you, you know, pretty soon before you know it, it's your usual daily life to just get out and do things. push you past that the comfort level. Everybody has a little comfort level where they just want to hide in their little nest, maybe, but these guys get you out pretty soon.
Nice.
The work with your nest.
I know Will there is
That's
kind of
where I
one of
think
your
the
like
film-
mentors. Oh, sorry, Bobby. Talking over each other.
That's
Sorry.
You're good.
No, that's okay. But I think that's what was the beauty, Chelsea, of this film is showing what a community can do, and when you get thrust into a community, how important it is to have somebody to lean on. And these guys can understand, probably, Will, when you're having a bad day or a good day, it's definitely nice to see that you can have somebody understand when you shit your pants or you just don't want to get out. And I think there was a quote in there. I got to find it because I wrote down some notes. But, sometimes, we're going to have those bad days, and it's okay, because sometimes we just never get over it, and it's okay. But, I think that's what was nice to see about this film.
Yeah, and I'm gonna speak a little passionately here for a sec, but the reason for this film, yes, was to showcase spinal cord injury and someone going through the rehab process and when they get home. But peer support is so underfunded, and people try and research peer support, but it's not a tangible thing. It's not something that you can really put on paper, the effects of how it benefits someone after, like, during their recovery. So to do this film actually puts it down and says, this is one person's journey, on how peer support helped during the recovery. And I mean, recovery by having fun, but also education on secondary complications, on staying out of the hospital, staying healthy, keeping your mental health, So I do hope one thing that this film does too is just showcase that there needs to be more funding in peer support, especially when someone's going through that rehab process.
Agreed.
Yeah, thank you for speaking passionately about that, because, I think you just said it, that peer support can be one of the best, cases like preventative care you can take, when it comes to just figuring out what to do, what not to do, and how to get back to being healthier quicker by talking to people that have gone through it before. Because, I don't know, I've just been there. I've been that quad that didn't know any other quads, and I'm just talking to doctors that aren't really familiar with spinal cord injury and trying to figure this stuff out, on my own. And, successful as I may have been, I know that it was about 100 times harder than it should have been, had I just had my community of people, that I have now, because it really does make a huge, huge difference. I've got another question for you, Chelsea. It's actually from the chat. Have you made any other films?
I have. Yeah, I've been in filmmaking for over a decade now. I started on set as an assistant director and then kind of worked my way out into documentary. But another film that people may like that some of these people are involved in is we made a film called, film partner Ryan and I made a film called Real Love. And it's about James and I's journey on disability, sex, and infertility, and trying to have a baby. And it kind of just showcases, people in chairs and their journey to starting a family. So that one's called Real Love, and that's on YouTube for free. So
awesome. Well, we'll make sure to link
Was
to
it-
it as well.
Yeah.
That's a super awesome, relatable topic for a lot of people out there. So
Totally.
definitely.
James, you get to watch James's junk get vibrated in a clinical setting. So yeah.
Oh, our viewers know all about that stuff. Don't worry.
We've had many conversations.
What did I sign up for here?
Now it's gonna get all the views. You're just gonna get a flood of.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So you gotta do.
Was that the hard part of reinventing the wheel, to try to get everything you guys probably go through and experience to get it in the film? And what were some things that were hard that didn't make the film that you had to leave out just because it was a little bit too much?
Well, there's one really hard thing that didn't make it into the film. And I think we all know what that is. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? That really hard thing that was too much.
Really hard? Yeah, really hard.
much. But I won't say it on air. But you guys watch the movie and you go to the Vegas scene. We have a friend in a very inappropriate costume, and you can just look at that yourself. But in all honesty,
Vegas,
like
baby.
I don't know. I think for myself, the hardest part was watching Colleen, because I am also a spouse, and I've been through some of those things in a different way. But you know, just watching her go through her journey, and on camera, not being able to just reach out and give her hugs sometimes. I think that was kind of the hard part for me. I'm sure Dan, you being on camera, being vulnerable was probably kind of difficult. But honestly, guys, like Ryan and I just filmed what was happening in front of us. There was nothing staged. We just filmed everyday life of how we live.
Oh no, you could
That's
tell
why
that
I
from
think
the
it
film.
came across so genuine. Like, we didn't have to act. She asked us the odd question to direct you in the right way, but I mean, essentially, that's all she did. Well, then again, she clipped that mic to my nipple, but yeah, whatever.
Well, also the quality of filmmaking was incredible. The production value is extremely, extremely high. Like, I watched a lot of documentaries in my day, and I mean, in terms of production quality, like, it is as best as, you know, I've ever seen in any other kind of documentary style film. It felt good. It felt real. Like, you know, all these guys felt really natural and stuff, but just the way it was shot and stuff. And I loved how you guys took kind of a, you know, little satirical take on some of the more traditional inspiration films that are like, you know, you see coming out of rehab and stuff, and like the, you know, stuff that I used to watch online 20, you know, 15, you know, years ago when I was like researching this stuff for the first time. You know, how I wish I had a movie like this to watch versus, you know, some of the films I was watching at that time. But, you know, I'm just very happy that it exists now for other individuals out there that, you know that there are groups like this that exist and stuff. Very, very cool stuff.
And you know what? If there isn't one, Tom, or if there isn't a group out there, then like reach out and just create it.
That's what I'm saying. That
Like
started.
it starts with two, right?
Yep.
So yeah.
Absolutely.
I think, and that's important, James. That's important, James, because a lot of our viewers here and there will say, we don't have anybody in our area. We're, you know, in a rural area. How do you create something like this? And I know it just, like you said, it started with 2 people in a coffee shop, and then it turned to 4, and then 8, and then now over hundreds. You know, any advice out there when you're trying not to make it, you know, so big? Yeah, I think keeping it small probably is the biggest thing. Or what would you guys think?
Well, if you're anybody new, like, we get new injuries all the time, but it's not like we're looking in Vancouver or Vancouver Island. We obviously got acquaintances and friends there, but accessible Okanagan is the Okanagan, and that's like a region. It would be like SoCal, or, you know, you guys got your regions. It'd be like that, although ours is probably 500 kilometers across each way. It's a big area, but we're not really looking to expand. We have, you know, like, we keep filling that up. So I know, like, not that we're not looking for new members, but yeah, our core group is Central Okanagan, for, you know, because there's a Vancouver group, and, you know, we all coincide, but yeah, we don't have to necessarily go outside of our region. Because, like, for myself and like Will, we, you know, he'll drive 2 hours for rugby every week to Kelowna.
Yeah, it's dedication then.
I mean, I feel like James also said it is like the biggest hurdle is just getting started. And, you know, the thing about it is it's not really that hard, because it could just be going and getting a beer or a coffee with a friend. And, you know, that's it. That's your weekly coffee, your weekly group, you know, weekly decompress session with your quad homie or whoever it might be, your SCI homie. And, you know, then I'm sure it'll snowball from there. You know, coffee will turn into different activities and turn into different, you know, acquaintances and different people. And, you know, it could just be something. And we've see it happen here in Southern California. We just had a Santa Barbara group pop up, you know, and it was a couple quad friends that just started hanging out and like, hey, you know, let's like make this a little bit more official. And they found a spot and, you know, open it up to the public more and bring in more local people. And that's all it was, just a little pizza hang on Friday night, you know, and turned into something more that is helping the people in that area. So you know,
that's basically how our Triumph Foundation stuff works. Like, we're like you guys, we stay local and stuff, but you meet people that just outside of the area, and then they start their own little chapter, and then it just sort of slowly grows like that.
Yeah.
And like that's probably what's happened with you guys too. You know, one person meets another, and helps just allow down the chain.
That's one thing that's nice with the group is like we can meet and go for a coffee. Where for some that's enough of an outing for them. Where some be involved in sports, so there's an avenue for that.
Yeah.
From the sports, it could be camping. You know, some might not have a system to camp, but they can show up and check out some or some other people's setup, and then they can go from there. So it's not like the group is sort of, you know, secluded to one avenue either. Like it can be as simple as, you know, even just meeting up for even a Zoom call if you can't get out of the house, all the way to traveling and so on. So it's awesome.
Well, that level of inclusion is awesome. And, you know, it's super important too, because just like you said it, there might be the people that like to go out camping and shooting guns and fishing and doing crazy stuff, but they're the ones that are probably just looking for the peer support, which, you know, Zoom call might be their, you know, thing. And whatever it is, though, as long as you participate in doing it, in whatever form that may be, is the, you know, the whole point of it. But also the fact that you guys are providing a accessible base on a lot of different levels for a lot of different kind of people is really cool. You know, it's really awesome and amazing that that's offered.
Well, we really try to provide opportunity for just open, free-flowing conversation, especially like within our coffee groups and stuff like that. There's not a lot of ego, I don't think, within our group, and not a lot of political or religious opinions. So even if we have a conversation based on something political or something like that, there's not a lot of I don't know. There's not a lot of there's allowing for back and forth conversation, other people's ideas and stuff like that, without a whole lot of backstabbing or anything like that.
Judgment.
And also, same thing with our Facebook page. We've also allowed anybody to post on our Facebook page and things like that, which allow for the open flow of communication.
Yeah, you know, same with us. Like the thing is, like anybody's open to talk. Our only ask is we just try to keep it positive. Peace and love, baby. You know,
right.
We're open to any kind of ideas or opinions as long as they're healthy and happy.
Yeah, that's
I do have
negative stuff out, you know, but yeah, but not like negative real life stuff. Like if you're having a rough day and need to talk about it, like that's 100%, you know, like that's what we're there for.
And
not.
I love that part of the film too, where you guys are talking about that. You know, like, you know, I always say like it's okay to have a bad hour or a bad day, you know, but try not to have a bad week or a bad month or a bad year. You know, like feel this stuff and reach out to your homies and, you know, find some help and figure out some support. But, you know, find a way to move on from those bad feelings too. But, you know, it's a big, like, it's just part of our lives, like part of the quad life, part of the para life, you know, the SCI life is dealing with some shit. Sometimes literally, but also a lot of other stuff too. You know, which like isn't so awesome. But I'll tell you what, like, and these guys will tell you, and you can really see it demonstrated in the film. I've never felt better, you know, even when I'm feeling down or funky or having a hard time, than after, you know, calling up one of my homies, you know, who's in a chair and, you know, just talking it out. Not even necessarily talking it out, but just like relaying the events to someone who understands and it's, you know, what I just went through.
Or even calling a buddy up and they shit their pants that day too.
Yeah, that's a good.
Like, oh, hey, yeah. I got a Snapchat from James when he was in Mexico. He's like, he's like, I don't know if you want to see this, but
that was a full-blown Mexican blowout, that one. But I mean, it's not like it happens like every day or anything.
Right.
It's just that just seems to be a conversation that pops up at
Yeah.
Possibly.
Holding up a mic and a camera.
Well, it's also a conversation that's usually avoided, and because it's like just like it can be really embarrassing, tough thing to deal with, especially for the inexperienced at dealing with it. I mean, Scott said it like. Imagine being on a date, your first date with a lady,
Yeah, that was
shitting your pants and having to explain that, like that's not as real as it gets. And dude, I've been there, man. I feel you, dog. Like I've been so many nights out, had an issue, had to like, figure it out, explain to my friends, deal with that situation. And it can be one of the realest moments of your life, honestly. I mean, it does stick with you. But
I was halfway up a ramp when it happened.
Oh man.
No way.
Just up the ramp, I was leaning right over, pushing
that extra push.
But
guys, like that was in creating the film. That was something that was very important to Ryan and I and the boys that we brought up. You need to bring up bowel and bladder if you're going to make a film on SCI. There's a lot of inspiration porn out there, but if you don't talk about the real shit, literally, like how are you going to gain the respect of the SCI community when you make that kind of film? So I think it needs to be talked about more. It's uncomfortable sometimes, and with the boys talking about their stories, but what happens, and that is something that's relatable. That's when you start to gain the respect of your audience as well, right? And that's what helps people sometimes.
And like you were saying earlier, talking to a doctor for 10 years. It's nice to be able to look at somebody with the same hands as me trying to put a repository, or you know what I mean? Like it adds validity to the question you're asking. You're not talking to a clinician or a doctor telling you that, well, no, it's got to happen this way. The book said, well, flip the page, dickhead.
Well, I mean, I can't even imagine the hundreds of thousands of dollars that, my family or my insurance is paid to these doctors, and like an hour talking to Bobby or Shawn for the first time, I met them, is probably more valuable than all the conversations I had with, all the physiatrists over the years. And I'm not saying that doctors don't have their place, because they certainly do for things that we don't understand and, the more physical side of medicine. But, there really is nothing like talking to another quad, especially a quad who has some life experience doing this stuff, because you just said it, as knowledgeable as a doctor might be, they don't have the hands, they don't have the paralysis or the feelings or the function that, make it meaningful and relatable. And how could they, explain it to someone that, doesn't have it? So it's crazy. But that's why things like these is so important. Okay.
Yeah, why not learn from someone else, right?
It's the best way.
I love the logo.
I know you guys.
So tell us about the logo.
I'm gonna have to make you guys trade you guys a hat if you guys are down.
it's
yeah, so it started out as my thumbs up. So every picture I just sit there and smile and do that. So
I saw the hat like in the middle of the show, and my family, that's like our thumbs up. We've been doing it my whole life.
You
got the tat. I like it.
Yeah,
man.
that's cool.
Dude, I like the confidence, bro. Just show that quad belly off, man. Let's go. I'm about it, man.
Summertime, you won't catch me with a shirt on.
One of my big questions on my notes is Stu. I just want to know, is the Stu bus still running? What does it look like today? Because you said it was a work in progress.
Well, it's not necessarily work in progress. Like that's the third kitchen rendition I've done. So as you use it, you realize that, I didn't need this storage here. I don't like that there. So I've just moved and but it's going to a buddy of ours, Will. I got introduced to him through William. He's a diesel mechanic and he's going to soup it up so I can do faster than 55 miles an hour. But it's fully functional. It's sitting in my driveway just waiting for me to get in it and fire it up.
Get ready for canvas season. That's happening.
And for anybody that isn't familiar, that hasn't watched the docu, which again, little reminder, right after this show, that should be the first thing you probably do is go and buy that movie and watch it.
And I'm just going to make a quick mention. Sorry.
You're good.
If you guys can't afford to rent it for $5 or buy it, let us know. They do have a discount code. You can get it for free. But it just does help support everything, by buying it. But if you really can't afford it, but it's something great. You should watch it. Let us know. So go ahead, Tom. Sorry.
No, I appreciate you saying that, man, because, everybody's situation is different, and we want to, make sure to include everybody. So we really appreciate that offer, you guys, because not everybody does stuff like that. But what I was saying is we're talking about the Stu bus is a bus that Stu modified that is just like a little live-in travel bus that's like fully wheelchair accessible. We were talking on the show, before the show, on how they were going on some camping trips, getting like 3 or 4 guys with SCI in there, sleeping and camping out in the same night, which is just absolutely insane. But it's a really cool, amazing thing, which is like pretty unique too. You don't often see something like that.
Well, I was mechanically minded before I got hurt, and I was looking for something, and I found a bus with a lift. So that was the biggest thing to me. I didn't really care about the mechanical side as long as it passed inspection. I bought it for the lift, and it just turned out to be a low mileage. So it had 10,000 kilometers on it, like under 3,000 hours on the motor. And yeah, so I got it, came home, and fell out of my chair and started unbolting seats. And within a week, I was camping in it. Not much really happened the first year. And then, I just gradually added. And then I met Will, and he was an electrician. So I used my good mitt. I got one good hand, and he talked me through wiring it. It's got 3-way wiring and solar, and you can tell a quad built it because it's like Ocean 11, the cuts. But I mean, you won't enjoy the bike anyway.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. And the whole time, Stu, just to let you know, I was on a bicycle. I used to be a bike rider, and that's how my accident happened. I hit the back of a yellow handicapped school bus is how I ended up in the chair. So I just love it.
Oh man.
What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say so one thing I'm kind of ashamed of is I actually haven't been camping. So I've flown plenty with rugby and done all that, but I've never gone camping. So that's on my list for like this summer of to-dos. Got to get that done.
I love the outdoor activities you guys do. I grew up a lot. My family, I did it. Looks like we lost
We'll pop back on
James and Scotty. That's okay. I grew up a lot, doing a lot of outdoor activities, camping, cotting it up, figuring out how to charge my chair off of an inverter, off the car, get on the battery every night, and, just crazy stuff. A never-ending list of adventures with my family, which is really awesome. Like I, always love seeing other quads getting out there and, roughing it and doing it. Because a lot of just people think like some things are out of the realm of possibilities, but when you see, some of the roughing it that us quads do, you realize nothing's really out of the realm of possibilities after something like that. But it's just very cool. Like I was really digging all the guns, all the fishing, all the adventuring and stuff, because that's what we do a lot about here. We go to shooting ranges, we do fishing, we do, a lot of like cool outdoor rec. So that's super awesome. I can't wait to like team up with you guys and go on one of these trips sometime. I gotta go catch some pike up in Canada one day.
Heck yes.
Well, we'll hook you up to a spring salmon. I remember being drugged down the Thompson River in my chair. I was anchored to the beach, and it still pulled me. They're about 17 pounds, and once you snag one, you just hold on and pray your buddies are watching. Because
heck yeah, dude, that's what I'm talking about.
That sounds awesome.
And my mom just commented, "We'll take you camping, Shawn. Don't worry. We'll plan that before the end of the year. We'll go on a nice 4 or 5 day trip out there camping somewhere."
All right, nice. Here, actually, let's take this second just to go through some of the chat while James is maybe clicking back on. So we'll just say what's up to Cody. Oops.
Hi, Cody.
Cody, he's from your area too.
Yeah.
Where is it? Kelowna?
Kelowna. Gary is also out there from Kelowna. You got Janet out there watching.
Nice.
And I think Andrew commented earlier that he wasn't sure about watching it outside the States, and I know we touched on it. But, it's good international because these guys are international filmmakers. They aren't even out from the States. So, I hope it's good international. I know we can watch it here, but we're the ones that should be worried.
Yeah, what's up, Paul?
Paul's
What's up,
from,
Peter? Some of
Paul's from
our
Tune.
our normal guys.
We just want to say a big thank you to everybody that's been in the chat, participating, everybody that's watched, everybody that's liked the video. You guys are why we do it. We love our audience. We love our family out there, our Live to Roll fam, all over. So just a big shout out to everybody. Thank you guys.
Yeah, well, thanks to this lady, that's why we get to talk to you guys today. Like, without it, we would have never met. Like, I mean, it takes someone's mind like hers to create what she did. And yeah, it was definitely a fun adventure. Looking forward to the next one.
Yeah, no, definitely. People like Chelsea and James as well. We know a couple of ourselves. Andrew and Bobby, even here on the pod with us. Are really incredible members of the community that do a lot to, inspire a lot of individuals and network and just reach out and reach to a lot of people that maybe didn't realize stuff like this existed before. Nowadays with technology and movies and videos and YouTube and Vimeo and everything, that is the beauty of all this. Zoom and all of it is we can connect instantaneously anywhere in the world if we have a mind to. And, that is an incredible thing. I mean, it's like a miracle almost that we can do something like that. And if you're not using it to your advantage to help connect with other cool, like-minded people, then that's what you should be getting on and doing sooner than later, because it's all at our fingertips, and it really is probably one of the best and most powerful tools we have to, help with our health, help with, Chelsea said earlier, our physical health, our mental health, all the above. I know, like, I've been doing like some Zoom exercise stuff recently. Bobby and Shawn have been doing the Zoom and online exercise stuff for a long time, and just stuff like that. It's so awesome and unique. I never did it up until COVID, honestly, and man, I wish I was doing some more of this stuff, a few years before I started. We usually end Go ahead,
Olivia. I was just shouting people. Go ahead, man.
I was gonna say we usually end the show asking you guys a question. Give your advice for any newly injured individuals out there coming out of rehab. Maybe discover this video or something, or maybe they're into their injury and just looking for some support. Been struggling along. What is your guys' advice for that? When you're struggling, when you're having a hard time, what has helped you get you through the tough moments? Could Dan and Will maybe start touching on that, just because I feel like maybe they're the most qualified through the rehab process recently.
For me, it's a matter of just reaching out to a buddy, whether they're in a chair or not. Find someone out there that you can just go get ready to do something else and just get that mind reset in your mind and just be able to sort of regroup from that. Just have a break, what's going on, and
me, the times right after the accident, right? Like I'd have a cold brown. It was devastating. Be lucky. She's like huge support. And having these guys in chairs too, right? You realize you're not alone. Everybody has their shit. And just mind was you write off. Tomorrow's a new day. You just start from scratch again in the morning.
We're having a little bit of an audio bug. I'm sorry. I think we missed a little bit of that, but we definitely heard some of it. So sorry about that. But no, I mean, all solid advice. Like it's, sometimes you gotta like just let yourself off, give yourself a break too. Sometimes, like I can really relate to that. I can set a pretty high standard for myself at times, and I try to live a pretty independent life. But sometimes I fail. I fail spectacularly, and then I get down on myself really hard for not being able to do it, and that just kind of feeds the negativity, and doesn't really lend to like getting back to what I need to do, which is just get some help or figure it out in a different way. So no, very very relatable. How about Scott and James?
Oh, geez. Don't be afraid to ask for help, I think, is a really big one. I think a lot of us go through it just striving for independence right away. And I think part of independence, especially as a quad or like a higher level injury, sometimes you just have to reach out and ask for that help or that hand. And just kind of don't just be willing to do that, and don't be scared to get out there and do things, because the fear of crapping your pants can be pretty high, but it's no excuse for not going out and living life still, because there's definitely plenty of life to live.
Yeah, I played that what if game for a long time.
About leaving the house anymore. Prior to it, you're like, oh, what if I have this accident or that? Now you're going outfitting. That's the least. It's like, oh, am I going to make it there on time? And do I have enough gas?
Yeah.
But Scott,
I think it's anxiety, right? Like, I mean, I was just thinking about this the other day when I went and got my haircut. I was telling Shawn this the other day. Is, I didn't even think about it anymore. Of course, 25 years in, and the first 2-3 years was like huge anxiety, and I think that the anxiety is what held me back on a lot of things, and that is, let's say going to get your haircut, and you're just worried that, the what if scenario, what's going to happen, and if you you continue to have that, that's going to actually increase those chances of having an issue as well, and that takes time, learning your body, figuring it out. Like Dan said, Metamucil, I take it every single day. That's what works for us. That doesn't necessarily work for everybody, but you figure it out. You figure out, how to overcome some of those, those body issues.
I'm a Benefiber guy.
Yeah, like it just makes it consistent. It doesn't, it doesn't make it, I have issues with constipation.
Yeah.
So, that just helps make it a little bit more consistent. So
and
well, the thing is too,
go ahead.
it took me
just perfect.
I was going to say, it took me 2.5 years to figure that out, but with all these peers, each peer had something different to offer. That I would try something for a few weeks and then go. Another guy would tell me, try this. Another guy,
And we're all a little bit different.
Yeah, every body is sort of different. So it's good to have as many peers as you can to get advice.
Everybody's different and every injury is different, That's like one of the best things about spinal cord injury support group, or, any kind of group like with a bunch of quads or pairs, is the different insight you get, because like I'll not go home with like one thing to try, but I'll go home with like 3 or 4 different things to try. So if that one thing doesn't work, then I still got a couple things in my arsenal that could still maybe help me and make this better, or whatever. So
that's also the person pre-injury kind of, like if you were into, like Dan was medical, Will was an electrician, I was a diamond driller, like James worked on computers or whatever he did. Scotty, monkey bars. Everyone brought something pre-injury to the table, and now the chair made it a commonality. So,
Right.
And that's important, to get within a group to figure it out so much quicker, instead of that trial and error. And after 4 years, all of a sudden somebody just says, "Hey, try Metamucil," and it's like, God damn it, why didn't I try that? Like day one, you're all figuring out with the diet and all this, and different suppository, and it just makes it so much easier. And that's the importance, I think, of what your group holds, and anybody can get a part of any type of group, and it doesn't have to be in your area. It can be on like a Facebook, like you guys do have that Facebook page, and said anybody, or if it's carecure.com or .org, or that Christopher Reeves Foundation, whatever it's going to take just to figure it out. I think, that's the importance of when you guys open up and at the rugby courts, and I think that's where it opened up. My eyes opened up so long ago. It was just like somebody whipped out their leg bag, and I was just like, why doesn't yours look like a hospital? And how come you can do it? And it was just like, yeah, it's so much easier that any quad can do it. And it's like, duh. And now, I went out and got it, and it was just like, oh my gosh, life is so much easier. Day Shawn gets hurt, I'm just like, dude, here you go. Here's your leg bag. You don't have to go through what I went through for the last, for 2 years. So I think that's the beauty of this.
Yep. Yeah, that's it. I had so much help from Bobby and a couple others and stuff that, pushed me in that beginning. And that's why, I like to do that now. And, it's just, we all just kind of, we get that help and then we try to give it back, I guess, if you can. Dan, actually, have you been able to like kind of talk and mentor anybody since your recent injury already?
Yeah, there's been two other guys in my town that have actually ended up in wheelchairs since my accident. I haven't really been able to help them out too much, but the one guy's dad, I had a chat with him at a coffee shop and just sort of talked to him, and I think made him feel a bit better about what was coming down the road for his son and things like that. So yeah, but yeah, like this peer group though, they're like these two other guys that were injured, they were able to fit right into the peer group. And yeah, one guy just actually won what did he win? The Pro Canadian Bodybuilding Championship here in Canada. So that's pretty cool. Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah, the other guy, the other young guy's coaching actually junior high basketball here in town. So yeah, he's doing good. Both doing really well.
Awesome.
That's probably like one of the most rewarding things I've found with like the Triumph Foundation and stuff and Live to Roll is just talking to newly injured guys. I think it's really a shame the lack of support that individuals with almost all serious chronic disabilities are left with after their hospital and their rehab stay. The fact that there isn't better support to help, enable these individuals and to keep them healthy, to prevent, issues and stuff from arising, really comes down to information and, a little bit of help. And the fact that like not even that is offered in most cases sucks. So the fact that organizations like what you guys do and Triumph does, and what we're trying to do here with Live to Roll is help bridge that gap a little bit and provide at the very least some information, meaningful information that you can navigate and understand readily. But beyond that too. So I think it's just really amazing what you guys do. The movie, the organization, all of it is super, super awesome and inspiring. So
I also want to kind of just on the other spectrum, gents, is say, with these groups and organizations, people with SCI also bring in spouses, family members, moms, dads, sisters, friends, and those people have a hard time navigating this new life as well. So what's great about these organizations as well, it also gives an opportunity for those people to reach out to, spouses learning from other spouses, moms hooking up, chatting, dads, Stu's mom has reached out to a lot of moms with sons who go through spinal cord injury. Same with James's mom, Will's mom. Colleen's been a massive mentor now to many women, to wives who have husbands with spinal cord injuries. So I think that's pretty cool, the ripple effect that these organizations create, that we can also be, there for those people too. So.
Shout out to Dan's wife, Colleen. I hope I'm getting her name right. I thought a really awesome part of the movie, a really unique part that, again, hasn't been covered in any SCI film that I've ever seen. So that was, I want to say shout out to her and to you for both doing that, being in such a unique, vulnerable situation and being able to, portray it and, share what you did with other people. I know is so impactful to other individuals out there. and it was really powerful for me watching, even being in the chair myself and not in her situation. Just seeing that side of it was really cool, super unique. So just wanted to shout that out.
She's an amazing woman, and one of the coolest things about the outcome of this film, selfishly, is I gained a best friend. So
that's cool.
A week doesn't go by without me talking to Colleen. So
Jeez, they talk for like 2 hours at a time, eh, Dan?
Doesn't stop.
We just get caught up through them, really.
Right.
I love all the conversation, like all these comments and everything that are coming in on the side. Like that's awesome, man.
Yeah, see, that's what's cool. Like we kind of have tried to make this little community here for people to gather and join as well every week, and not only from us, like they're people in the chat are helping each other. You guys are all helping each other with all the experience, so it's just cool.
Yeah, one of the most beautiful things about Live Troll too is like it's national, it's international, it's local, it's everything in between. We got people that join us for our shows from different countries. We got people from all over the U.S. and we're talking to you guys from Canada and stuff. Like I love that global networking. I think it is it's like breaking down these walls, these invisible walls that exist all over the world. The fact that we're driving the forefront trying to bring them down and at least like bring our community together in a meaningful way is super cool, and something I want to continue to really pursue and keep doing.
Awesome, because it doesn't matter where you are, right?
Yeah, definitely. I mean,
it doesn't matter where you are.
We just had an episode last week. We were talking about the conflict in Ukraine and the desperate situations that almost every individual with a disability like ours is stuck in now, with inaccessible sheltering, inaccessible transportation, no access to supplies, and like things like that. And there is support and there is effort being made to help out individuals in that situation because of things like the internet and organizations like this, and being able to communicate all over the world and share supplies and information and stuff. So really cool.
Yeah, we've got the opportunity through COVID to help out a guy from Uganda who's trying to start some peer program stuff there. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that is really cool.
That's
that is awesome.
Big goals in like the next 5 years for me is to try to take a trip to Africa and like with Shawn and with Bobby and go and interview some individuals in different third world countries and stuff and figure out how they do it. Figure out what kind of support they have and how they can be supported better, and just understand how not just people from third world countries but people from all over the world handle the SCI life. I'm so fascinated by that, and I think it would be probably super beneficial information for a lot of people too, all over.
We're gonna take the stew bus to Africa.
That's gonna be the next documentary, Chelsea, is we're gonna just redo the stew bus for like 5 or 6 quads in a big RV, and we're gonna just take it on a boat, go international.
I love it.
We'll let a couple of you paras into. It's all right.
Yeah. We just need like 5 stew buses, right?
Yeah, we do.
Kind of work like ski cans, anyways, right?
I'm up for that adventure. So let's start.
Pardon if this word offends, but be the crippled caravan. Let's go.
In the chat earlier, one of our local guys, Tommy Hollenstein, who's actually a world famous artist and is doing a bunch of like these huge art pieces right now. But anyways, he said he wants in on the Vegas trip. He said, let's make this happen. So Halloween in Vegas might get crazy, guys.
Oh
my God. Well, you have no idea what it can become. We're only like maybe 100,000 people at Fremont.
Let's just take Vegas over, bro.
Yeah, well, let's take Vegas over. We got to talk of psychedelics in the chat. Maybe we'll avoid the psychedelics. We had
at least on camera.
We had someone ask questions. Why do psychedelics cause muscle spasticity if you take them? Well, first of all, most psychedelic substances are illegal in most of the locations we're broadcasting from. So, please keep that in mind when it comes to using but
allegedly, if you do.
The thing that a lot of people don't think about with like acid or mushrooms is the body high that's associated with the drug as well. It's very focused on the psychoactive element, which is like the trippiness and the hallucinations. but there's a lot of extra activity in your central nervous system. And it's just essentially a lot of extra electrical activity that's flowing through your body as a result of the substances. And our bodies can't understand those rogue signals flying around our muscles. And it usually translates to pretty serious muscle spasms.
None of us would know anything about that.
But none of us would know anything.
I've never
No lived experience there.
This is all
we
alleged
should do a
information.
session on
Allegedly,
that one day.
hypothetically.
We've never done that. Especially.
I love how easy you answered that, Tom.
Well, I may or may not have researched the topic in the past, or allegedly not have a little personal experience. But I know another buddy of ours, Mike, in the chat. We've talked about this stuff before, and some other individuals who are quads. I guess maybe I shouldn't shout anybody out too specifically. But hey, we're living life. It's just like what we were talking about earlier, you guys. Like this is the real talk. And if somebody is going to experiment with something like that, I would rather them have the information and the knowledge before they do it to hopefully avoid a bad experience. With like any kind of substance, small amount, if you are going to try something like that, microdose it, like don't do anything crazy, be smart, have people around you that aren't under the influence and it can help you and take care of you if you need it, don't be afraid to call
Or do it with another SCI.
Yeah.
Do it with a few.
There's a lot of this going on.
Yeah. Man. But yeah, that's
Hey, just real quick, he's asked it twice, trying to avoid scoliosis, and I think the best way I can answer that is trying to get seated properly is the best thing.
Don't look at me.
In the right
over here, hunch.
So yeah, don't look at Tom. The opposite of Tom, go from there. And I think getting yourself in the right cushion, the right backrest, the right wheelchair setup is the first thing you want to do. And then talk to your doctor and get professional seating done.
Yeah, look at how you sit and how you sleep, because that's where your body is going to be in like the positions for the longest and where it's going to develop if it is. And make sure your hips are straight. And try to do this if you're earlier in your injury, sooner than later. Talk to a seating specialist and try to get something right early on, because within the first couple of years you can start to develop scoliosis, and once you do, it can be really hard to stop it from getting worse. It's something I deal with and have for a long time, and I try to manage it, but I don't have the best sitting practices and stuff. I hunch a lot, I lean over, especially when I'm doing things like this.
Yeah, I think especially with like a higher quad, like we don't having, or even a higher pair, just having no trunk control, it's hard to keep straight.
24 years of paralysis too.
I went with a ride cushion and backrest, and just by going to a ride so that it was a hollowed out, so you fell in, it actually gives you quite a bit of fake core / stability, where I would have to recline my power chair substantially to get it.
So that's super awesome and relatable advice.
They're not cheap, but they work.
So what I do is my cheap version is just having a hell of a lot of bucket in my chair. I have like 6 inches of drop in my chair, so my ass is way low, and it sits me back in there pretty tight and gives me a little bit of fake trunk to lean around.
Yeah.
And a perfect example of why you got to get some quad homies early on is because I was in a manual chair for for like 7 or 8 years in a perfect perpendicular, like 90-degree angle. And nobody ever told me about a bucket seat and, the advantage that would lend me as a quadriplegic in a manual chair, which is knowledge I wish I would have had someone like, Shawn or Bobby to tell me early on. But hey.
Well, your rugby chair should have close to 13 inches?
Yeah, that's what I love, sitting in my rugby chair, man. I'm so down in that thing. I'm like, yeah.
It just doesn't fit in any doors, otherwise it'd be awesome.
That's the problem. Yeah.
I usually sit tilted in my
being bucketed all day long. It's so hard to get out of.
Yeah, it's not functional.
But but you know what I was thinking about? Because like I know I have no trunk core stability, but I'm like, I got hurt snowboarding. Like I love like skate, adrenaline stuff. Like I would love to do some of that WCMX skate shit. Like if I could drop into it. So I was thinking if I could get a bucketed chair, like a rugby chair that was super bucketed, maybe bars that don't flip me over. I don't know, man. I'm trying. You guys want to help me come up with this? Anybody down? Yeah.
Oh yeah, dude. We can
I'll
certainly-
help you push in.
All right.
I'll hold the camera. I don't know.
Nice.
I'm gonna sit up the side with the first aid kit, and I'll try to be in shape to provide support.
Oh man! All right, guys. Do we want to mention anything else? I guess.
Yeah,
real
let's
quick-
shout out to our sponsors, and also for those that are watching, thumbs up, hit that like button for these guys here, and
Yeah.
make sure we get that.
And make
like
sure
button.
to check out the video. The trailer even is just on YouTube. That's the links in the description below. And I will, as soon as we're done, I'll add the link for your actual channel, Chelsea, so they can watch the other documentary and other stuff you have on there and everything. So
Yeah,
I'll get
I'll
that
send the
up there.
link.
By the way, I just wanted to shout out the quad thumbs up one more time. My family, like, they adopted the quad thumbs up like 24 years ago when I first started. And we all do it to each other all the time. So the fact that it's your guys' logo is so awesome. Like, I love that so much. That's super
Thanks a lot.
awesome.
Except too, every time my wife, when I have to give her a thumbs up, I'm always like this. As much as that little thumb comes up because it goes back down, and it's just like she's like, "All right, got it."
Yeah, I see it. That's good.
Thanks to you guys too. This is awesome. You guys are doing a great job. Lots of discussions. Check out the other videos too that you guys like. If you guys haven't seen you got a whole whack going on there.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
trying to have a lot of different content and stuff. And
We're working the YouTube game. We're working the algorithm. We're trying to, make Live to Roll something that can be international and supported, and like it can be meaningful for a lot of people out there.
Lots of
Shawn is working
education.
super hard,
Yeah.
but Bobby and I are trying to pull our weight too, in supporting this venture and stuff. But we really appreciate you guys coming on. Please, please, please go check out Reinventing the Wheel. If you're up in Canada and you're not involved, please check out Accessible Okanagan. Is that the right
Okanagan.
Okanagan?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. for
That's for
the
Okanagan, you bet.
but all
Sweet.
the links are in the description, so you don't have to worry about my pronunciation. Just check it out below, and go to their website and check it all out because it's right there. And yeah, like Bobby said, thank you for reminding everybody, man. Like, subscribe, hit that little notification bell, and you'll get notified of our videos every week when we go live.
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah, thank you guys. And make sure to subscribe to their channel as
We
well.
got a women's show coming up next Thursday, right?
Actually, this Thursday.
This
so
Thursday,
Brianna
sorry.
will be
This
on
Thursday.
doing a makeup women's show on Thursday for the Women's Disability Show.
Anybody that doesn't know, every other Thursday we do a specifically women's disability show
I
for
covered Tom.
all the
but-
ladies out there. So please go and check that out. It's a really awesome, fun show every week.
Yep, and that's hosted by Rihanna, and they always have some great guests. And then we're on every Tuesday, 3:30.
Hey, you're blocking my face, Shawn.
I know,
What's
I'm
going
blocking
on?
Tom out.
I'm fine.
I had to put myself over Tom again, so I was on camera
It's
twice.
all good. It's all good.
Now,
But yeah, check us out. Remember to follow them. And really, honestly, the documentary was really incredible. Like, it's probably one of the best things I've seen in a while. So check it out for sure. You guys.
One of the best things I've seen in a while, period, but probably the best SCI content I've seen in a long, long time, if ever. So please go check it out, and you won't be disappointed. The quality, the content, it's all awesome. It's really great. Go check it out.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks for watching, guys. Live to roll.
Appreciate
Thanks,
it.
everyone.
Next week.
Thanks, guys.